Also tonight on Joy News Prime, the transformation of the Ghanaian economy remains one of the central priorities of government. That's according to President Akufo-Addo, who has reiterated his commitment to the rollout of the One District, One Factory policy.
We are doing a lot of mining in our...
Some updates shortly. Also, Minerals Commission says it is taking steps to check the devastation of cocoa farms by activities of illegal miners.
In areas, definitely there is a problem and we need to look seriously at it.
And the majority in Parliament calls on Speaker to reject the motion of rescission filed by the minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, challenging the Speaker's decision to refer 3 NPP MPs to the Privileges Committee.
I think it's important to express disagreement with the Chief Whip for the minority in his own understanding of what the rules provide.
And at 8 p.m, I will be handed it over to Beverly and Oreku for Prime Business and Prime Sports. Beverly, what's coming up in business?
So the famous Abosokai Spare Parts Center is set to be relocated to Afenya. We'll tell you more later in our business bulletin.
The initiative and the idea, for that matter, to create a new hub for them at Afenya. Fortunately, the RCC is talking to the Minister of Lands, and we have been assured of about 2,500 to 4,000 acres of land.
Oroiku comes through at 8:30 with Prime Sports. What's in the world of sports?
Well, dismissed Ken Faisal coach Nuruddin Amadou has reviewed the reason behind the club's sudden slump in form.
Complacency, and then including everybody. I was the only person who was still very fearful that, look, it's not about being there, it's about how you sustain it.
My name is Sogah. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. Well, so tonight, the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, is asking the Speaker of Parliament to reject the motion of rescission filed by the minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, challenging the Speaker's decision to refer 3 NPP MPs to the Privileges Committee. The Majority Leader says that the move by Muntaka is not grounded in law. He also believes that it will be a Herculean task for the National Democratic Congress to convince the Supreme Court on the subject matter of the controversial electronic transactions levy. This came up at a press conference by the majority earlier today. Parliamentary correspondent Parker Wilson has the rest of the story.
The Majority Leader, Sogah Mensah Bonsu, is not too happy with some moves made by his colleagues on the other side, particularly the minority chief Muntaka Mubarak. He believes that the motion of rescission filed by the minority chief whip is not grounded in law.
I think it's important to express disagreement with the Chief Whip for the minority in his own understanding of what the rules provide. A speaker can receive petitions from outside. And indeed, as you are all aware, demonstrators come to Parliament to present petitions. Who do they submit the petitions to, or do they intend to submit the petitions to? To the Speaker. And because the Speaker would ordinarily be presiding, he would oftentimes send the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader to go and receive the petitions on his behalf and submit the petitions to him. Once we receive the petitions, we relay same to the Speaker without any personal comments. Usually we will say to them that, well, the petitioning the Speaker will submit the petition to the Speaker. We can only assure that the appropriate steps will be taken to deal with the contents of the petition that you are submitting. When the Speaker receives such a petition, the Speaker is, within his remit, after perusing the document, to refer same to the appropriate committee for further investigation. So when my colleague said that he disagrees that the Speaker cannot receive petitions, I was wondering where he was deriving his strength from. Because clearly, by practice, by convention, speakers everywhere in the world receive petitions. And when they so receive petitions, they channel them to the appropriate committees in Parliament.
He also raised concerns about the attempt to injunct the commencement of the implementation of the e-levy. His view is that the president has already assented to it and that it will be an exercise in futility if the minority attempts to injunct the levy.
Well, I'll just say that the burden of proof lies on the minority to go to court and prove their case. The Supreme Court, I'm sure, no Supreme Court anywhere, indulges in processes and procedures relating to Parliament. That is their matter. Let them take it to court to litigate. But I believe that it will be a Herculean task on their part to convince and persuade whoever. They say they want to stop the implementation. But the bill is already being implemented. I don't know what they mean by that. Upon the assent of the president, a bill, if Parliament has not postponed the operation of the bill, immediately after the assent, it comes into operation. So if you fall foul to it, you can be prosecuted for falling foul to a bill that has been assented by the president. I don't want to pronounce on it, but I guess you and I would know that it's going to be an exercise in futility.
He's also been responding to the concerns about whether or not Joseph Osei should be in the first Deputy Speaker and also the Chairman of the Presidency Committee has the locus and the right to preside over the sitting that will give hearing to the 3 NPP MPs who have been directed to appear before them and answer some questions over their absence in Parliament.
Now, I see a challenge in that matter because the first Deputy Speaker is named by the orders to chair the committee. So if you are insisting that the first Deputy Speaker shouldn't chair, are you going to amend the standing orders to accommodate another person to be the chair? That's point number one. Point number two, if any member is conflicted, maybe so he has some interest in a business that is referred to a committee, that person can opt out to say that, no, this matter has come before us. I have a personal interest, so I'm opting out. But once he does that, it is for the caucus to replace him. And that's the rule. So unless maybe you don't know about that, if you say that...
The minority is yet to respond to the claims being made by the majority leader. For Joy News, I am Chrissy Parker-Wilson.
Now, the transformation of the Ghanaian economy remains one of the central priorities of government. That's according to President Akufo-Addo, who has reiterated his commitment to scaling up support for government's flagship projects, including the One District, One Factory policy. Earlier today, the president commissioned the 107th factory under the initiative, which is expected to create over 2,000 jobs. Addressing the gathering at the event, he noted that the 1D, 1F project will help create more jobs and transform the Ghanaian economy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation of the Ghanaian economy from one of production and export of raw materials to an industrializing, value-adding economy remains one of the central priorities of my government. This requires, inter alia, a vibrant investment climate and a robust regulatory and incentive regime to support private investments in new strategic sectors. Hence the commitment of the government towards the successful implementation of a number of initiatives, such as the One District, One Factory, 1D, 1F program, the development of industrial parks and special economic zones, the strategic anchor industries policy, micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises development, and the business regulatory reforms program. I commend highly the collaborative work between the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Exim Bank, the Standard Bank, the Food and Drugs Authority, the traditional authorities, and foreign partners of the company for providing the requisite support towards the establishment of this state-of-the-art manufacturing facility.
Now, let's stay in the agro sector because crop scientists, researchers have observed a consistent drop in yields on 6 staple crops, warning of a possible food shortage. The researchers are asking for the implementation of urgent measures to avert a crisis, considering the associated challenges in the agricultural sector due to the Ukraine war, which has negatively affected production in the country. Now, specifically, researchers also want investment in genetic innovations as well in the agribusiness sector. My colleague Samuel Mbura has the rest of the story.
The 6 staple crops under threat due to low yields are rice, maize, tomatoes, soybeans, cowpea and cassava. At a high-level emergency consultative meeting organized by the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement under the University of Ghana, Principal Research Scientist at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Crops Research Institute, Dr. Maxwell Asante said, Ghana is producing only 50% of local rice despite the huge potential to be self-sufficient.
We have the potential to be self-sufficient in rice production. But currently we are producing just about 50%, just under 50%. And we have the potential, we have the land, we have the variety, we have the personnel, everything to be able to do it. So the advocacy is that we have to put in the needed investment to be able to do it. So when I say the needed investment, what I mean is that it starts from the variety, the development of the variety. Currently, we have good varieties. But a good variety today will not be good in the next 10 years.
On his part, crop scientist and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Agyemang Dankwa, revealed that farmers cannot produce the required 1 million tons of tomatoes for consumption, a reason they import from other countries.
So we are aware that the national demand is about 1 million metric tons, and we do just about half in terms of production here. So there's about half more that needs to be imported in, about 500,000 metric tons that have to be imported in as either the paste, the tomato paste, or other tomato paste products, or as fresh fruits from Burkina Faso. So really there is a huge gap. About half of what is produced here is needed to complement the national demand.
The government introduced a planting for food and jobs policy in 2017 to help farmers boost food production. But Dr. Beatrice Efe of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement said there is still a wide gap to close in maize production.
We are not meeting target for PFG, so there is a need to increase production to meet our targets. And we know droughts and the other challenges accompanying production as well, bringing about some shortfall, particularly in 2020. And we have not met targets. There's progress, but we are not there yet.
Meanwhile, Director at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, Professor Eric Dankwa, warns the Ukraine war is a major threat to food security.
What we are doing now is to ensure that we create the awareness which ensures that partners understand that we have the innovations around that if we scaled up would meet expectations in farmers' fields. And so the time is now urgent because of the complicating factors. Of course, the Ukraine-Russia war is a signal, of course, but there have been so many other signals like climate change, an important signal, COVID-19, and no one knows tomorrow. That is why we are moving forward in the context of Ghana looking within to meet expectations.
The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement is expected to produce a report detailing the way forward in improving food security in Ghana through investment in genetic innovation and use of hybrid crop varieties. Samuel Mbura's report for Joy News, Accra.
Now, the Minerals Commission says it is taking steps to check the devastation of cocoa farms by the activities of illegal miners. Joy News is learning that these activities have affected cocoa farms across 13 out of 16 regions of the country. Cocoa Board is worried that the trend, if not addressed, could negatively impact the sector and that should happen within the next 5 to 10 years. However, in a bid to address the challenges, the Minerals Commission says it is taking pragmatic measures to reverse this trend. Chairperson of the board, Barbara Oting JC, has been addressing the press on the measures being rolled out by the Minerals Commission.
We need to really determine strategies to address this. We know that for the 13 regions in Ghana, with the exception of about 3 regions, cocoa production is impacted by illegal mining. I think it's only in about OT region, Greater Accra region, and the Volta region that we don't have this occurring. We are also aware that many of the cocoa farmers are selling off their farmland for mining activities. And definitely mining is taking place underground and cocoa production is taking place above ground. So if we are doing a lot of mining in our cocoa growing areas, definitely there is a problem and we need to look seriously at it. We are also aware that the revenue that is generated from mining is such that a lot of our farmers are attracted to it. And even now, information that we are getting is that a lot of the youth who previously used to engage in cocoa mass spraying now are unwilling to do it because we are getting more revenue from illegal mining. This is why I believe that His Excellency the President has mandated us to actually look at how we can address illegal mining, so that the various negative impacts, including the impact on cocoa production, can be minimized. As a commission, we have looked at this and we have initiated the community mining scheme. The community mining scheme, through this, we expect to move people engaged in illegal mining into the formal small-scale mining, because the community mining scheme is a mode of small-scale mining. And we are spearheading it. We have developed a manual for it. And as we move more people from illegal mining activity into the formalized community mining scheme, we believe that this impact on cocoa production will also be minimized. We also realize that a lot of the people who engage in illegal mining, doing haphazard excavations all over the place, do so because they don't really know where they can find the mineral. So we have taken it upon ourselves, with the support of Geological Survey, to undertake geological investigations to map out areas where we can let them undertake these activities, such that they will stop this haphazard mining all over the place. We have also realized that funding and appropriate technology is also an issue. So we are taking steps to support them with equipment as well as with funding. As we designate specific areas where they can work, we support them with the equipment and the funding such that their operations are monitored and they cannot just go and work anywhere to impact cocoa production. The Minerals Commission welcomes this engagement with Cocoa Board, and we believe that as we discuss these issues which are impacting both of our operations, we can come up with strategies that the implementation will ensure that Cocoa Board is able to execute their mandates, and Minerals Commission is also able to execute its mandates. And at the end of the day, Ghana will be the winner, because we are mandated to ensure appropriate mining, responsible mining, to generate revenue for the country. And we all know that Cocoa Board, as the chairman said, has been producing cocoa.
Well, so joining us via phone now is Abdullah Hassan Razak, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, PRO. He's joining us. The group appears to be concerned about the situation. Good evening to you, sir. Welcome to the program. So why is your association concerned about the increasing spate of illegal mining, despite numerous interventions by government to stop this?
Thank you very much. Good evening to your listeners. We, the National Small-Scale Miners, are very interested in whatever government is going through. We are not happy with what the illegal miners are doing to our environment, as well as the way things are going in the country, fighting the illegalities. We are also much concerned about the devastation of the land and how cocoa farms are being degraded. But let us all ask ourselves, what is making it more relevant for illegal miners to be working on cocoa land? We should find a way to see how best, or things which are not going on well in cocoa board, that is encouraging these young guys to be going into cocoa farms, destroying cocoa farms, and then using it for illegal activities. I don't think Minerals Commission is giving land to we, the small-scale miners, to go and do illegal. The only thing Minerals Commission does is that they block out these areas and make sure that we mine and mine responsibly. But because of the incentives that illegal mining are given to the youth in the various cocoa mining areas, they feel more relaxed to work in the mining or the illegality aspect of the mining than going into cocoa farms. So it's a whole problem that the whole nation has to fight. And by so doing, we have to identify some of these things and then see how we can correct them.
The fear is we've lost that fight already, the fight against illegal mining.
I don't think we've lost the fight, because we are not acting pragmatically. Because if you look at the way things are going, we as small-scale miners, we've been telling government upon government that, look, we are with these people. We know these illegal miners. Let us all collaborate with government. But sometimes it is very difficult for the collaboration to come in, because sometimes government deploy military. Military are not technical people who understand this work. They are to go and fight illegal miners, but they are not, because they are not having the technical know-how. It is only difficult for them to identify the illegal ones and then the legal ones. And we have been advocating that, look, self-regularization should be an option, or we make sure that when these military people are moving to these mining areas, at least Minerals Commission officers should be part of the team so that they can distinguish between the illegal ones and the legal ones. And at the same time, we should involve the communities and the chiefs, because many of the chiefs are part of this. And then many of the community leaders are also part of it, because some even call these illegal miners to come for their cocoa.
But Razak, I guess that's why government introduced the community mining approach.
Yes, the community mining approach, like you said. I think NASM, or Small Scale Mining Association, was really serious about this community mining. We brought this idea, we collaborated with government, and we said, yes, well, we want to bring, let's introduce this community mining to curb this thing. But to be frank with you, the implementation is something, it is a problem we are facing now. Because the way we are implementing it, all the places that we've gone around to commission this community mining, let's go around and find out how many of them are working. Because of the way we implement them, that is one of the challenges that we are facing. If we were to use the original way of implementing this community mining, I think this problem will be reduced.
Abdul Razak is the National Communications Director for the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. You're still with us here on Joy News Prime. We'll return shortly after this break. Unusually, a group of stroke survivors have decided to raise awareness on stroke and its disabling effects on those who suffer from it. Now, though singing, they hope to uplift their spirits as well as to demystify the myths surrounding the case of stroke in Ghana. Here's Michael Ashale reporting on the situation.
What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God.
This is the Stroke Survivors Choir. They were all once down with stroke, rendered either completely or partially immobile. They faced episodes of pain, lots of it. Today, they sing the ever version of the popular hymn, What a Friend We Have in Jesus, originally written by preacher Joseph Scriven to comfort his mother.
Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh.
A group of 13 people, all from Peki in the Volta region. Believe it or not, this is the first time they are performing in public, and only after rehearsing for a few hours while en route to the Greater Accra region for the annual Stroke Survivors Day celebration at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Samuel Sedodo is the executive chairman of the Stroke Survivors Association and also one of 2 choir instructors.
Today is our first time of trying to sing in public like this, or sing to the new audience like this. So upon all this, we will again manage to continue to organize ourselves more.
Albert Nyalamegbe is the other choir instructor.
I'm a singer, I'm not a choir master. I'm not a composer, but I can sing any song.
He has been singing since his youthful days in school.
I was in choir, since from 1961, school choir. Finished, then we joined choirs, going to broadcasting, everything. So I've been singing.
He explains the choice of the song for such an august occasion of the public unveiling of the group.
This is our first time of rehearsing the song. When we are coming, our leader told us that we should try and find some song. So I suggested, what a friend we have in Jesus, because all this our sickness, if not because of Jesus, we are not alive.
Before being diagnosed with stroke, he was a blacksmith. The nature of his job meant he was working very close to a blazing furnace all day long.
I'm a pot manufacturer. We've had strong fire for several years. When I'm working, people pass by. They say, "Old man, when are you going to stop this work?" I said, "Very soon." I don't know very soon, but it's very soon. I went to work that day. I finished work. That is 2017. After close of business, I feel very, very hot. Then I want to take a rest before I go and wash myself. Then suddenly, my condition changed. I was very, very, very cold. So I saw that things are not going on well. So I went and rushed and took taxi that I'm going home. But I never read where I'm going. 4 doctors came in the morning inspecting the patients. When they came to my bed, this machine they are talking about, the CT stand. They take my CT stand, they said stroke. Evening time, I feel like urinating. When I tried to wake up, I couldn't. Kolibu. I spread the room with toilet.
For them, singing is a bit more difficult than usual.
And you see, let me put in one thing. Because of the pains we do sustain here, at times you can't hold your breath for long. You get me? At times to sing to a certain duration, it doesn't go. So you can see, say there was a break. There might be at times a break. It doesn't get to the whole volume of the tune, But by all means, when you listen carefully, you get the meaning or the inspiration part of the thing.
As stroke survivors, some of them still suffer from mild paralysis. They also sometimes suffer public ridicule because of their difficulties with movement.
Because, you know, the sickness has deprived us from society. To be honest, it has deprived us so much that most of people are frustrated. As I can say, when you see the condition of some people, it is very, very worrying, and it is very pity to look upon. So we are trying to entertain ourselves more with the song.
Oh, marvelous. If you are in a choir, your heart is always happy. You will be happy always. When you are sick, you sing. When you are feeling pain, you sing. So singing is good.
For these stroke survivors, singing does more than just make them forget their troubles. They hope to use it as a tool to increase awareness of stroke and demystify the illness. In the near future, they hope to sing more than just in ever.
The Education Minister is asking Grade A schools to learn to accept students with low grades and mold them into good students capable of passing their West African Secondary School Certificate examination. According to Dr. Yao Seye-Duchum, that's the best way to assess how best these schools are. Speaking at the launch of the University of Cape Coast at 60 celebrations in the Central Region, the minister indicated that always receiving the best BECE candidates or students and making them score good WASSCE grades does not make them the best schools. But he stated that receiving students with low grades and guiding them to pass their WASSCE will make the schools stand out. Richard Kojinyako has the rest of the story.
The Education Minister, Dr. Osei Yaweduchum, indicated that the mark of every good teacher, every good school is to get students with low grades and turn them into outstanding students. He challenged the grade A schools in the country like Wesley Girls, Presec, Holy Child and the likes not to be worried when students with low grades are placed in their schools, but be happy that with their resources, pedigree and experience, such students will be guided and molded into excellent students that are capable of passing their final exams.
There are families where nobody has ever gone to senior high school. And if we don't go there and we continue to look at ourselves and begin to complain, why are we bringing all these children here? There are places where teachers are complaining that students with aggregate 20 are being accepted. I had a wonderful conversation with some man who is very high up. Called me one day and said, why are you sending students with aggregate 22 to Presec? And I said, sir, I think Presec has one of the best group of teachers in this country. He said, yes, it's true, Presec, yeah, that's my school. And he said, yeah, they are examiners and they are very good. And I said, yeah, sir, I know. They are examiners and they are very good. So they are the ones who are prepared to teach those who have aggregate 25. The idea that students with aggregate 25 should not go to Presec, it boggles my mind. They are the ones who belong to Wesley Girls, where you have talented teachers. So if Wesley Girls want to prove to me that they are the best school, and they are the best school, They need to take in students who are grade 20.
He further charged the University of Cape Coast to set the pace in training teachers that would handle children with special needs in Ghana.
I want you to begin to reassess a new frontier where you take charge of education of teachers for special needs children, autistic children that will need some speech therapy. Our nation is in short supply of speech therapists. Cape Coast must lead the way. You must lead the way in the training of education psychologists, those who can support our teachers in the education of our children. You must lead the way in STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I love it. That's why I'm sponsoring about 97 of our STEM professionals. I believe that we can do better as a nation by increasing the percentage of our students who are in these fields. Doing very well in other fields, but when it comes to STEM, we are found wanting. And especially when it comes to gender parity. At the Kwame Nkrumah University of Technology, Science and Technology, leaders of engineering, only 15% of the engineering students are women. And it's not good enough. We can do better.
Dr. Osei Duchuma explained that government would never compromise on quality in its bid to open access to senior high school education. Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Johnson Yakobo Ampo, indicated that currently the university's collective image as an institution is high, and across the sub-region and across the globe, the university's reputation is very high and ought to be protected.
As the Vice Chancellor of this great institution, I see this as the beginning of greater things yet to come. It is therefore important that we work harder to overcome our challenges so that we can maintain our enviable position as a top-ranked university in Ghana, West Africa, and global leader in terms of our research influence.
He stated that globally, the university is not only being recognized for its academic excellence, but as a pace-setter in higher education as well. The 60th anniversary cake of the university was cut to begin the activities earmarked for the celebration. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyako, Cape Coast.
The Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Ms. Esla Osu-Ekufo, has urged young girls to take advantage of existing opportunities in the digital world and embrace ICT education to better their lot in future. She made this call while speaking at the National Girls in ICT program held in Techiman in the Bono East region, where about 1,000 girls in public basic schools in the region were selected to be trained in ICT programming and coding. And Asabit has the rest of the story.
As part of strategies to both ensure that Ghana achieves the Sustainable Development Goal 5 and Ghana's ICT 4AD policy on bridging the gender digital divide, the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization through its agencies GIFEC, the NCA and the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence has expanded the scope of the Girls in ICT project. The program, which involves the training of trainers who in turn trains the girls and mentor them to develop passion for ICT, is for the second time training 1,000 girls in the Bono East region. Osla Osu-Ekufo is the Minister for Communications and Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West constituency.
These are deliberate steps that we're taking to encourage more girls to consider studying ICT subjects and taking up careers in this very wide, exciting field in futures, so that it is not just a theoretical exercise. We bring women, female achievers who have excelled in this field, either as trainers or as practitioners. So we have lecturers and we have those who are actually working in this field to come and share their experiences with the women, the girls, during this mentorship program. So this is just to expose the girls to the wonders of ICT.
But how were these girls from the 11 districts of the Borno East region selected to be part of this project?
Girls' education officers and the schools who choose the girls. We are not involved in the selection of the girls. So they bring the girls for the training that we facilitate. And they should know the criteria that they use, those who are interested in it, those who are good in it, so that they will get more exposure to it.
Borno East Regional Minister Kwesi Edujan lauded the Communications Ministry for the initiative and noted that the region is instituting measures capable of expanding the project to reaching many other girls across the region.
You know, almost every part of the region is covered under this program. We intend to sustain it. The Honorable Minister for Communication has come to sow the seed. Regional Coordinating Council, we are here to water the seed to make sure that it becomes effective and factual.
Mobile telecommunications giant MTN Ghana, who are partners to the Girls in ICT program, donated an amount of 10 million Ghana cedis to aid the mentorship and training of the girls. Engineer Louisa Ama Sosu is a board member of GIFEC and a senior networks performance and SLA manager at MTN.
MTN has really partnered with the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization on this Girls in ICT program. So we have committed a total of 10 million cedis over a period of 3 years. And in addition to that, anytime there's a program, we come with a team of mentors to encourage and mentor our girls in this program.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
And thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. We'll return shortly after this break. So it's time for showbiz. Ivy is here.
Blessed, how are you doing?
Thank God it's Friday.
Yes, thank God it's Friday. And let's go straight into the news. So, I'm sure you've heard of a lot of talks about the e-levy ever since it was passed.
In fact, some of the artists have been speaking about it as well. I don't know who's the latest to join anyway.
Well, it's not actually the latest to join. Okay. It's a hint that has been thrown to the air by the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture that we should be prepared for online taxation. So he was in the studio or hit 103.9 FM on the morning show Daybreak Hits with Andy Dorsey, and he said, if you are talking about e-levy, people should actually streamline themselves well for online taxation. Well, when he was in the studio in the convo with Andy Dorsey, this is what the Honorable Deputy Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture said.
When the e-levy started, they said that instead of going straight into e-levy, why don't you look at the cyberspace first? There's a virgin market there that nobody is taxing. So when we are done with them, maybe that could make us even wait on the e-levy or eliminate the e-levy totally. Then we can concentrate on the surplus within the cyberspace. Professors, opinion leaders, on Joy News, you can go and check. And they were all directing us to the cyberspace or online marketing or e-commerce. So I'm not the first who said it. So I'm saying that if all these people have started a conversation like that, it means that we should begin to take in that direction. Because now you have your TIN number. My bankers called me and said I should come and align my card, my Ghana card, to my account number. It gives me a clue that gradually we are getting into a smart community where almost everything will be connected to your TIN number. And so you can't run away if we get to that stage. If Stoneboy last year on Boomplay or last 2 years said he was the most streamed artist in Ghana. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. I think they awarded him a certificate and some likes here.
You understand? So it's very easy to check that, oh, Stoneboy had this number. And I'm not sure Stoneboy will say that, yeah, with this revenues coming to me, I wouldn't want to give my percentage of what I have to contribute to the building of the country. And then, you know, when you do that, what it does is that it gives you good standing to ask for more from government.
So why won't we rather pay so that we can actually ask for more?
I'm expecting that a lot of musicians would also make their statements on this because it's like going online there from e-levy to
online. You think it's too much?
Well, I'm not in the industry, so let me save that for industry.
Okay, so Empress Gifty has also been talking. You remember the death of Nigerian gospel musician Osinachi, who was married to a pastor. Well,
very tragic.
Yes, very, very. Empress Gifty has been saying and also advising young ladies that marriage is not slavery. The very first time a man left his hands on you, it is a sign for you to bolt. While he was in the studio on Drive Time on Joy 99.7 with Kofi Hayford, Emmanuel Kofi Hayford, and this is actually what she said.
For me, if you're in a relationship, if you're in marriage, and you massage anything called abuse, you will die. I have come to a point in life that I will never advise any young woman, any marriage couples, to stay in marriage that you've been abused in. Domestic violence. You would die within your time. The time phrase that God gave us is 70. After 70 is a blessing. So if you not clock that age, my friend, don't stay in marriage. That marriage will give you stress. The marriage will give you depression. In fact, some marriage can turn into concussion. When you see your husband, your BP goes up. Why? Love should be joy, something that will give you peace. It's not pain. Any woman that will sit or stay in marriage, that your husband, your wife will lay hands on you and you say, you just explain yourself, I am sorry, it is the devil. The devil has no idea of that beating. In fact, he is busy somewhere. He has not even seen you at all. I am telling them they should run away. And two, society have taken people's marriage as their clock in their homes. And they watch and they give you time, the seconds and the minute, how to run to your home. At about time, they need to stop all those things. If somebody is in his or her marriage and the person is coming out from the marriage, go and ask the person, why are you leaving?
Well, very touching comments.
Yeah, very, very. And you could see the passion at which she was talking with. Yeah, so that's the Empress Gifty for you.
Well, that's all we have for you here on Joy News Prime. My name is Blessed Sogah. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more updates. Next is Prime Business. Please stay.